Welcome to Ritual Scale Modelling. This is part 18 of Hobby Boss's M1070 truck and tractor with the M1000 heavy equipment transport semi-trailer. Scale is 1:35. In this part, I'm going to be doing all the little finishing touches, putting on some brackets and painting the flatbed. I did run into a small problem right at the end concerning some of the air pipes that would connect the truck to the flatbed, but I'll go into that right at the end of the video. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. The first job to do is to put tiny little ringlets into the location points that I'm doing here now. Now the camera's not going to pick these up unfortunately, but they're half crescent little rings that go into the brackets. Well, I'll say they're brackets. They're designed to hold chains and things like that on them if you're going to be using them. Now here I'm fitting the lights. Now I did show a photograph on the other video of this actually in place. I put the wrong photograph in. These are the lights that I made up in the previous video, and they just sit on the edge of the rear of the platform. And in that vein, there is a series of brackets I have to make up, and they come in a couple of parts. The main ones are these, and they're just a little covering with a side part to go on. As you can see, there's quite a lot to do. The next set of brackets are the similar to the ones I've just made up, just they're in a double form. So there's two types, a single bracket and a double bracket. These then get placed on the bed. Now the locations is up to the builder, because these parts on the real vehicle are designed to move to lash on to whatever the truck is transporting. So it doesn't have to be uniformed if you don't want it to be. They can go anywhere. The little holes that you see on the flatbed here, these are the areas which hold the brackets in place. So there's plenty of room for them to go how you wish them to be situated. Next, there's 4 wedges to make up. These are the block wedges that stop the vehicle from moving, similar to chocks that you see in aircraft, but these are slightly larger. There's a template on the instructions to make sure that you get the right angle of the fold of this particular 4-wedge part. There was a surprising amount of parts for this wedge. In fact, I would say this part is probably being over-engineered for the kit. The parts that I'm bending in position here now, these are the inside of the wedge, the support beams that hold up the wedge. I really don't think they were necessary, but the kit asked you to make them up, so I did. To assemble them, it was fairly straightforward. I first of all put in the middle partition onto the rear part of the wedge. There is a little location point for this to sit into, which makes it quite simple enough to construct. Then that will go on to the main wedge area. Now you could put the side walls in before or after you put the central piece in. It doesn't really matter. It depends on how you want to approach it. I would suggest putting them in beforehand. That way you can press down the wedge so everything conforms to the shape of the side wall and the rear wall of the unit. It just makes it a little bit easier. You are going to have to hold this, even if you've got a little bit of super glue or instead of white glue for it to fix in position, because it will have a tendency to spring back up if you don't hold it. So as you can see there, I'm putting on the side wedge part of this. The other one I did it differently. I done it both ways to see how well it would go. And the last part of this is a little grab handle that goes on the outer box part of the wedge. There's 2 little location points to fit in, and this is just a plastic handle. There's no photo etch on this part. Still, it has to be secured with either white glue or super glue because it is going on to the foot wedge part. Unlike the previous brackets I placed in, these can actually go where you wish to place them. You don't even have to put them on it if you don't want to. The two front ones here, I'm placing on between the transit brackets that's designed to hold these. The other two I just placed on in the middle. Wasn't sure whether to put them on or not. I may pop them off if I decide to put a tank or something on the flatbed, because obviously where I'm putting them on, they will get in the way. So that's something I think about if you're putting a vehicle on the flatbed itself. You want to position these in such a way that it won't interfere with it, of course. So now it's time to paint, and first of all I gave everything a coat of the main colour, Rebel Aquacolor 360 Fern Green, and tidied up all that paintwork, and then I'm moving on to the camouflage pattern. So the first colour is the Rebel Aquacolor 08 Matte Black, and as you can see there, I'm just doing the markings first of all. I'm not filling in the area. I just want to get the pattern fixed before I do the main paint. Now, I'm not doing this in any specific pattern. It's just what I feel is right, just on instinct. If you're painting this way, the way I'm doing, just marking it out and then filling in, make sure your paint is thin when you're doing this. Otherwise, you'll end up with a little bit of stepping on the raw edges. And of course, you don't want that. But if your paint's thin, you can build up the colour and it will all be even. It will take a couple of coats if you do it this way, but it does make the model stand out a lot better than just putting on one big thick layer. And needless to say, of course, make sure each layer is dry before you place on your next one. That's a very important stage. Do not rush that because the paint won't settle down properly. So the next pattern colour to go on the pattern is Rebel Aquacolor 381 Brown Silk. Now, don't worry if you're using flat or silk or whatever. If you're going to varnish it, it will all even out anyway. And remember, this is a working vehicle. They're generally not meant to look like they've just rolled off the factory floor. So don't worry yourself too much what paint you have, whether it's matte, gloss or semi-gloss. I mean, I would stay away from gloss if I possibly can for these sort of vehicles, but again, it's entirely up to the builder. So as you can see, the brown is going on. This colour is going to be put on sparingly. There's not much going to go on there. It's just highlighting the black and breaking up the pattern. But again, it's done through feel than following any specific pattern. And then I'm using Rebel Aquacolor 731 Red Clear, or Clear Red, in conjunction with 730 Clear Orange Rebel Aquacolor. And this is for all the lenses and lights, where it should be amber or red. And I'm just going around and tidying up the paintwork as I go. And as I'm doing this, this is where I'll end part 18. In fact, this is the end of the build. I decided not to place on the registration decals and things like that. Mostly because I just didn't want to. Some of them were too small, too fiddly, and you know what, I thought, no, I can't be bothered doing with that. I'm just going to leave them off on this occasion. After I had a look at the model, once I painted it, I quite liked it the way it was, and I didn't want to do any more to it. So, as I said, I decided just to leave them off. Also, as well, on the truck, there's the air hoses that have to be connected from the back of the truck onto the flatbed. Now, the kit just supplies a bit of blue and black wire for this. You have to coil it to make it look like the air pipes. I couldn't do it. I tried coiling it and I just could not do it. I tried other methods to get this spring-looking coil, and it just wasn't working, and I didn't have any springs to paint the appropriate colours to put in, so I just left them off. I tried a different couple of methods to do it, but I just couldn't get it to work, so as I said, I just left them off in the end. So the next video will be the final reveal for the build. In the meantime, if you haven't done so already, why don't you jump over to the channel and see if there's something else that will pique your interest. And while you're there, why don't you subscribe to the channel? And if you do so, well, please do so. Hit the notification bell, that way you'll be kept up to date with the next part of this build, of course, as well as my future builds as well. Hit the like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.